I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Tuesday, December the 8th, 2015. Israeli security forces arrested 5 Israeli Arabs from Nazareth suspected of being supporters of the Islamic State. The 5 were allegedly planning and practicing for terror attacks inspired by ISIS and were detained following a lengthy investigation by the Shin Bet, Israel's security agency. Weapons were also confiscated. The men range in age from 18 to 27 and are all members of the same Suleiman family in the northern part of the city. More clashes erupted today between Palestinians and Israeli security forces. Confrontations took place at the northern entrance to Bethlehem, where Palestinians threw stones and Molotov cocktails at Israeli troops who used riot control measures in response. Today's clashes followed the funeral earlier today of a 21-year-old Palestinian man who was reportedly shot and killed last night during an IDF operation at the Teisha refugee camp. According to the IDF, soldiers were conducting routine activity when they were attacked by Palestinian residents with pipe bombs, Molotov cocktails, and rolling burning tires. In response, the troops fired warning shots in the air to disperse the crowd. The Palestinian man was reportedly killed in the confrontations. 4,000 rock-throwing dolls were intercepted today by Israeli authorities at the port of Haifa. The dolls are dressed with a keffiyeh or scarf with the colors of the Palestinian flag and have phrases printed on them like "Jerusalem, we are coming." The dolls also each have one arm raised holding a toy rock. Israeli authorities said the dolls were headed for the Palestinian Authority and were part of an incitement campaign. Israeli President Reuven Rivlin landed in New York this morning and then traveled to Washington, D.C. via train, where he will meet with U.S. President Barack Obama at the White House tomorrow and also attend a Hanukkah reception there. The meeting of the presidents will be the first between the two since Rivlin became president. Rivlin will also meet with other senior American officials. The Israeli president is also reportedly set to deliver an address at the Brookings Institution in D.C. and later participate in a Hanukkah candle lighting ceremony with United Nations ambassadors in New York City. Before leaving Israel, Rivlin spoke of Israel's strong connection with what he called its strongest and closest ally. He said the friendship between Israel and the United States is an expression of a deep bond, and I intend to express to the President, in the name of all of the people, Israel's appreciation for the uncompromising support of the United States in each moment and in every situation. Controversial remarks about Israel are once again coming out of Sweden. In an interview to Swedish news agency TT yesterday, Swedish Prime Minister Stefan Löfven was cited as saying he does not consider stabbing attacks in Israel terrorism, saying there is an international classification regarding what constitutes or does not constitute terror. As far as I know, he said, the knife attacks in Israel are not defined as terror. However, later Löfven contacted TT to clarify what he said, saying that, quote, "I meant that it was unclear if the knife attacks are organized by a group classified as a terrorist organization. Nonetheless," he said, "the attacks themselves do constitute terror." As we reported to you yesterday, recent remarks made by Swedish Foreign Minister Margot Wallström were harshly criticized by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu this week, when Wallström claimed that Israel used disproportionate force in response to Palestinian terror and was executing Palestinian stabbers. She later said she had been misunderstood. The New York City Police Department is investigating the vandalism of a menorah in the Upper East Side. The metal menorah was found yesterday morning toppled on the ground with parts of it broken and parts missing in Carl Schurz Park at 86th Street and East End Avenue. Just Sunday night, the menorah was the site of an interfaith Hanukkah candle lighting ceremony in the park. New York Regional Director of the Anti-Defamation League, Evan Bernstein, called the desecration of the Jewish symbol abhorrent. He said that often during the Jewish holidays, we unfortunately tend to see an uptick in anti-Semitic incidents. There is no cause for alarm, he said, but it is always important to remain aware and vigilant. And looking now at our programming for tonight, Tuesday, December the 8th, at 7 o'clock, The Connecticut Friends of the Israel Defense Forces honor the men and women of the Israeli Army in a program of the FIDF from Stamford, Connecticut. At 7:30, author and analyst Peter Beinart talks about issues that separate Israelis and American Jews with Haaretz's U.S. editor Chemi Shalev. That's from the 2015 JFNA General Assembly in Washington. At 8 o'clock, also from the GA, U.S. Ambassador to Israel Dan Shapiro discusses the current U.S.-Israel relationship with Jacob Kamaris of the Jewish News Service. Then at 9, Israeli journalists Amir Tibon and Yaakov Lapin give analysis of the Iran nuclear deal, the Israeli-Palestinian peace process, and more with Mark Golub on L'chaim. That's followed at 10:30 by Deputy Permanent Representative of Canada to the UN, Ambassador Michael Grant, who discusses issues at the AJC of Westchester Fairfield's annual regional meeting from Temple Shalom in Greenwich, Connecticut. And coming up after this newscast tonight at 6:30, Washington Bureau Chief of the JTA, Ron Campius, outlines the flaws with a Brookings Institute poll that suggests Americans favor U.S. sanctions on Israel due to Israel's settlement policy. On In the News with Mark Golub. And that's the JBS News Update for Tuesday, December the 8th, 2015. I'm Teisha Bader. Chag Sameach.